Good evening. We're going to do the watch list for the week of 11/16. The market is up right now. The ES futures is up 26 points right now, so I'm not surprised that it's gapped up. But this week is going to be probably really dependent on what kind of news is going to come out. I mean, more lockdowns, which is probably going to end up happening. More vaccine pumping probably. So news is going to be very important this week, and the market's going to probably decide what it's going to ignore and what it's going to react to. So we just have to trade accordingly. So I only have a few on the bullish side just in case the market does drop this week, and I think it will, but I could be wrong. And if I am wrong, I'll switch to my direction accordingly, day by day, depending on what's happening in the world or news-wise. So first one I have on the bullish side is BABA, and the reason I know BABA looks bearish on the daily, but the stochastics is oversold conditions. I mean, it's just has a fallen wedge, and they usually are a bullish sign when they break out. So I would look for BABA if it can get over to 265 to break 270. If it gets over 270, probably make a push to the gap resistance of 280. And if there's a lot of market strength or China stocks in general, whatever, it could fill the gap into 290. So I would definitely watch BABA for a reversal. Amazon. I think that because it's Christmas time, like I've been saying for weeks, that and if there's lockdowns, it will definitely help Amazon. So I would definitely look over the 3150, the 3200, even 3250 is the next big area. And if it can get over that, then definitely can see 3300. So Amazon's one of those ones where if it does break out and more panic and lockdowns come out, that you can see this thing could push to 3300 real fast in maybe a day or two. So Amazon, I would definitely keep an eye on. It's very expensive the first of the week. I usually don't trade it, but I have a spread on. So if it does manage to pop, I'll be happy because my spread will do good. Target is another one I'm watching. I know that Walmart is near like all-time high. It's creeping up there. So I mean, it did pop, then it just up here over here, then it just sold off. So I mean, it could break out, but I like Target better than I do Walmart. So Target's got like a little cup and handle right here. I get a cup and I get a little handle. So anything over Friday's high, which is pretty much where it is now, the 163.45. So just say 164 for a push to the 165, 166, even 168 area. And if it can manage to break this all-time high of 167.40, it definitely probably push to 170. So I would definitely watch that. Now on the bearish side, I have a few. BA, I just think BA is just gonna dump. I mean, you look at the weekly. You're not gonna be able to see on this one, but on the weekly, it's up against the 37 EMA, and every time it gets into the 190 range, it just quickly dumps. So right here, it dumped, and here, and here, and it did dump a little bit, but I think that it will probably if it gaps up tomorrow, it'll probably make a pop and drop. It'll probably drop it open tomorrow, and I can see it filling a gap right here. So I mean, I know the BA is probably going to start getting some good news coming out soon, but I still think they're going to fill this gap before they start taking off and going 200 plus. So I definitely like BA for the short side, but we'll have to see if any news. Plus, if there's lockdowns, BA, the travel industry, which I have Win on the list too, they're going to get hit the most. So definitely watch that. Netflix. Now Netflix, I mean, they were strong the last time we had a lockdown, but it's possible it could be strong again. But it's not looking too pretty on a daily. I mean, it's just hugging this 480 line. I mean, it popped every time it's down here, but I wonder if this time is going to be different. But I would keep an eye on. Even on the bullish side too, but if it's below 480, I definitely would like a push to the 465, even 460 area. But if it does manage to get some strength behind it, I would watch it over the 490 for a push to 500, even 510 for for a gap fill. I mean, Netflix is you can basically flip a coin. I mean, the lockdowns, it did strong, it did well, and so maybe it will, but I don't know. It just keeps bouncing off this 480 so many times. I mean, right here, 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 here. I mean, like at least 8 times right in this little span. So the more times it touches, the high probability it is it's going to break. I mean, even look at the weekly. The weekly, it's very choppy. It's always gravitating towards this 480 area. So I think it's a matter of time before it actually does break down from that. So we'll just have to see if this is the week does that. Now Tesla, same thing. I know they had a launch today, but it's in a symmetric triangle, and it just can go either way, but it's touched the bottom trend line a lot more than the top, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. It's only top 3, and usually, like I said, the more times it touches, the higher probability it's going to fall apart. So I would watch it under 400. If it does get to 400, probably a push to fill the gap into the 390, 480 area. And I mean, the downside, I mean, I don't imagine it would get into 360s, but it's definitely possible. And the thing that I like to point out on the weekly is that every time that it gets too far away from the regression trend line channel, it likes to pull back to it. So I wouldn't be a bit surprised. Let me just change the thing on it. Let's see what it looks like for 2 years. Yeah, I wouldn't be a bit surprised if this ends up coming down to like 350. So we'll have to see if that actually plays out on Tesla. CUMB is another one. I mean, I had that bearish last week and it just popped up. I mean, it gapped up, then it started to sell off, and it's just holding this 144 area. But I mean, it's got like an inverted head and shoulders. I mean, you get a left and a head and a right. I mean, it definitely could break out over 148 for a push to 150 plus. But the fact that it's chopping right in this little area on the daily leads me to believe, it's consolidating. It could make a bigger push higher, but it's got a big gap down here. I definitely would rather see a gap fill on CUMB. So, and Win is the next one. Win, like I said, travel. If news does come out about more lockdowns, Vegas shutting down, more panic and stuff like that, which could possibly happen this week or soon, going into winter as cold weather gets here, that I would definitely watch it underneath probably the 90 area for push down to the 86, then for a gap fill into the 80. So the last time they had a big, let me bring this up on the weekly. The last time they had the shutdown lockdown, I mean, it went from 126 to down to $40. So not saying that's going to happen again, but if the panic probably won't be as severe with vaccine hopes and stuff like that. But if there is slight fear of lockdowns, we could definitely see it back down to 65 area. So on Win, so we just have to keep an eye on that. Apple is another one. I mean, Apple is just, it is just hovering in the 120 range. It can't seem to get over this 120. If it does gap up, it'll probably end up selling off like it did right here on last Monday. We're probably going to see a lot of repeat of last Monday where we have a gap up and a big sell off during the day. So definitely be keeping an eye on that. Head and shoulders, left head and right. I mean, you even see that's an inverted head and shoulders too. So regardless of how you view it, it's having a hard time over 120. So I would watch it under 118 for a push to 114, even to fill a gap to 112, possibly even 108 if the sell-off is really, really big. So we'll have to see what happens. Disney is another one that will get affected if there's more lockdowns with the parks, California, Florida. I know Disney Plus is like picking up the slack, but we'll have to see if it can actually do anything or not. But I'm thinking that we could possibly see another dip on Disney, so I'd watch it under 137 to a push to 134, and for a possible gap fill down to the 128. Now it's possible. I mean, it had decent ER, so it had good ER. I mean, it was negative 68 to negative 20, so it was better than expected, but I think that it's going to fill the gap. So I love the gap fills after earnings, and usually they fill within a couple weeks after after they have a big gap up. We'll have to see if some of these that I pointed out will actually do that. So that's going to do it for the watch list. Just make sure that this week is going to be really news driven, and just take it one day at a time, and try not to be too narrow minded, and be open minded and adjust to what's happening and what the news is. It's supposed to develop news wise. So that's going to do it. Thanks for watching.